Now it's story time on Noggin. The story of Little Red Riding Hood.
Once upon a time in a pretty little town, there lived a pretty little girl who always wore a little Red Riding Hood. She wore it so often, she was called Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said to her, "Dear daughter, your grandma is feeling ill. Please take this basket of yummy food to her." Now, when a mean old wolf who was always spying on Little Red Riding Hood heard this, he wanted the food for himself. So he hatched a very nasty plan. He ran to Grandma's house as fast as his legs would carry him. When he got there, he knocked on the door. "Who is it?" said Grandma. "Why, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said the wolf in his sweetest voice. And his voice was so sweet, it fooled Grandma into unlocking the door. Well, when Grandma saw it was the wolf, she ran right out of the house to get help. Then the wolf sprang into action. He put on Grandma's nightgown and nightcap and got into Grandma's bed, pulling the covers up right to his nose. "What a great plan," chuckled the wolf. Right then, there was a knock at the door. "Who is it?" said the wolf in his sweetest grandma voice. "Why, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood," said the voice from outside. When Little Red Riding Hood came in, she looked at the bed and said, "Grandma, what big ears you have!" "Better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf, still hiding under the covers. "Grandma, what big eyes you have!" said Little Red Riding Hood. "Better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Grandma, what big teeth you have!" said Little Red Riding Hood. "Better to eat you with!" cried the wolf, and he jumped out of the bed. Just then, Grandma came running into the house. She brought a woodcutter to help her. The woodcutter grabbed his axe, waved it at the wolf, and started chasing him back into the woods. The wolf forgot all about eating Little Red Riding Hood and ran away as far and as fast as his legs would carry him. After their great adventure, Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma thanked the brave woodcutter and gave each other a big hug.
That's the end of the well-known story of Little Red Riding Hood. But then what happened? Alexandra made up a story to tell what she thinks happened next.
The wolf ran away and fell into a big lake of icy water. And then he got frozen into a big block of ice. And then when it was a really sunny morning, and the ice melted, then he got a terrible cold and he couldn't stop sneezing. Achoo, 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 achoo. And then Little Red Riding Hood made him a bowl of chicken soup and hot cocoa with marshmallows in it and gave him a box of tissues. She bring him to the wolf's house. The wolf felt much better. He said, "Can we be friends because I don't want to go through that again?" And Little Red Riding Hood said yes. They had a sleepover and they played puzzles. And that night they had popcorn. And in the morning they had pancakes with bacon. And they became really good friends. And that's the end of my story. The end.
That's the story of Little Red Riding Hood. And that's Alexandra's story of what happened next. You can imagine what happened next, too. Go to Noggin.com to make up your own story.